The term modern art sounds that it means that the art that is popular at the moment. But in fact, modern art is a style that originated over 150 years ago and includes artists that by now have attained classic status, such as Picasso, Matisse, and Gauguin. And what's even more ironic is that the moment they pioneered, considered revolutionary and even scandalous at the moment. As far back as the Renaissance, the primary European art movements emphasized conventional representation and adherence to the classical forms, and that they began to change in the late 19th century as the artists like Vincent van Gogh and Cézanne expanded the boundaries of the painting. Soon a movement arose that sought to create an entirely new style of art, and one way of doing so was to look beyond Western civilization. For example, Paul Gauguin moved to the island of Tahiti in the 1890s. There, he found inspiration in the island's inhabitants, landscapes, and culture to create artwork that intertwined European themes and the Polynesian love. Others looked to the culture of the Islamic world, but the most influential inspiration would come from sub-Saharan Africa. As European empires expanded deeper into the African continent, its artifacts and artworks made either way into the hands of museums and collectors. One such collector was Henri Matisse, who showed his friend Picasso a mask he had acquired, made the Dan tribe of the Ivory Coast. The mask awoke Picasso's curiosity, leading him to visit the Trocadero Ethnographic Museum in Paris in 1907. The museum boasted a collection of African art with stylized figures and masks made of wood and decorated with simple colors and materials. The visit was a revelation for Picasso, who proclaimed that African masks were what painting was all about. At this time, Picasso has been working on a painting of 5 nude women in a style that would later come to be known as Cubism. And while 3 of these ladies show facial features found in Asian Iberian art, a nod to Picasso's Spanish heritage, the faces of the 2 on the right closely resemble the African mask. Created in 1907 after hundreds of sketches and studies, Les Demoiselles Avillon has been considered the first truly 20th century masterpiece. Breaking with many previously held notions in art, it was at once aggressive and abstract, distorted, yet primal in its raw geometry. A new artistic language with new forms, colors, and meanings. And these avant-garde qualities caused a sensation. When the painting was first exhibited almost 10 years later, the public was shocked. Critics denounced it as immoral, and even Picasso's own friends were simultaneously surprised, offended, and mesmerized at his audacity. More artists soon followed in Picasso's footsteps. Constantine Brancusi and Amedeo Modigliani in Paris, as well as the German Expressionists, all drew on the aesthetics of African sculptures in their work. Others looked into a different continent for their inspiration. British sculptor Henri based many of his semi-abstract bronze sculptures on a replica of a chacmol, a distinctive reclining statue from the Toltec Maya culture. Pre-Columbian art was also a major influence for Joseph Albers. He created a series of compositions, such as the geometrical series Homage to the Square, that were inspired by the pyramids and the local art he encountered on his frequent visits to Mexico. Inspiration from ancient cultures initiated one of the most revolutionary moments in the art history. But were these artists playing the role of explorers or conquistadors, appropriating ideas and profiting from cultures they considered primitive? Questions like this deserve scrutiny as artists continue to redefine standards. Perhaps not too long from now, the bold innovations of modern art will seem like stale orthodoxies. Hope you all enjoyed the session. Thank you. Myself, Jesno Jackson.